we'll just keep it to the questions. We have 2 great questions from our Discord. If you would like to ask us questions, just join our Discord. Find the link in our YouTube or in our podcast, wherever you're finding it. I'm sure we'll put the Discord link in there. Come join us. Ask us a question. We'll definitely answer it.
Yeah, it's always going to be the second tweet to our when we release it on Twitter.
Yep.
And it's always going to be in the descriptions of our YouTube down below. See, I'm doing the YouTube thing now where I'm pointing down.
That's sick, dude.
So, yeah, I know.
That's sick.
That's called editing. Yeah. And awareness.
Well, good. We got some good awareness and we got some good questions. So, the first question.
Yeah.
You want to get right into it?
No, I was going to say bring us into it, JD, and then I completely ruined the flow.
That's okay.
So
we still got the
bring
flow.
us into it, JD.
Thank you to Andre, who has been an OG, asking us this question. If Melee didn't ever exist, what would you have put all that extra time into instead? If Melee ceased to exist as of now, what would you put your time into as of now? So those are very similar questions, but they are 2 completely different questions.
It completely changes my answer, honestly.
So
that nuance changes my answer completely.
I think we have to answer both, right?
No, we have to answer both. I will be mad if we don't answer both.
Okay, all right.
And 2, you have to think of it as if I think the first part, if Melee never existed, that means that you never would have found out about the Melee scene and everything thereafter. Mm-hmm. So if it's okay if I kick it off, I can explain more what I mean, JD.
Yeah.
So, for example, if Melee... to answer the second part first, if Melee ceased to exist starting today, I would throw myself into other fighting games.
I thought you were going to say like
games.
Into a river or into the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, that is dark, JD. We're trying to keep this lighthearted.
I thought you were going to go there.
Jeez. No, I would throw myself into fighting games. I love fighting games. I love like Street Fighter, Guilty. I'm excited for the new Guilty Gear that's coming out. Dragon Ball seems really sick. And yeah, honestly, that's what I'm just really excited for. And I don't know which one I would pick. I think I'd probably end up playing an anime fighter just because it looks really cool, or Street Fighter. But I would just put my time into that and still be a competitor, I think. But the question changes is if Melee never existed from the get-go. Because without Melee, I would have never figured out about the fighting game scene and learned that I love to watch all of that and follow the players there and stuff like that. And, at that point, I remember that, like, I was... And maybe this is a little bit more personal for me. Melee kind of came in a very dark time for me where I realized I didn't want to be a doctor anymore in college in my junior year. And I wasn't really having fun with the rugby team either anymore at that point. And Melee kind of came in and kind of helped lift me up during that kind of very turbulent time. But I probably would have honestly gotten into maybe another sport or something like soccer, or found something online to get into, maybe fall down more into the weeb train and all of that. Who can imagine me being more weebish than I am now? Unfathomable. But I don't know. Like, I liked soccer at the time. I don't know. Maybe I would have picked up stock sooner and stuff like that. I don't think I would have had like a passion, because Melee kind of taught me how to be passionate about things in general. So I really I can guess, but Melee's been such a big influence to my life, and like especially when it came in, that my best guess would be probably another sport or some sort of competition like that, something very basic.
I hear you.
But I think that would be my answer.
I think those are good answers. I think it's tough to answer this without thinking like, where would I be in my life without Melee, right? But
yeah,
that's not
exactly.
That's not the question. And it's like, I want to answer it like, because I started playing as a kid, and I actually had dreams of being a pro player before it was a thing. I would be
Really?
when I was 9, which is 2004. There might have been tournaments in 2004, but there wasn't like MLG. There wasn't anything I would know about. I distinctly remember being that age and like thinking about touring and like being on the big stage, like playing the game because I was better than all my friends. That was like the fantastical, vision I was having at such a young age. So without that, I definitely would still be playing video games. What would I put all my time into? Because college is when I entered the scene. That's when I really started grinding.
Yeah.
Probably more stand up and more comedy. That was There's very few feelings that match like winning a close game 5 or like beating one of your bracket demons, but getting off of stage at an open mic and like having done a good show is definitely it's better. It's definitely better. And so I think I would have followed that without anything else. I mean, Melee was the thing that gave me confidence to do stand up at times. Like I knew that skill was progressing further and I became a better Melee player than I did a stand up, which remains of course, but I think without Melee it's like I'm not going to be better at, studying. I'm not going to be a more excited communications major or anything like that. I'm putting that time into other passions. So I think that's kind of that question. But if Melee,
Yeah, it's so
sorry, go.
interesting. Oh,
There's a
yeah,
second.
it's so interesting because it's like Melee for me, similar to you, like the introduction of Melee kind of put things into focus because at least for me, and I felt like I was pretty drifting during those times. Like, I don't think I would even have done soccer or anything like that because it's like everyone else has played soccer in high school and stuff like that, and I never did that. So like, I might have doubled down on rugby, or I could have just gone into like Twitch streaming. I think those are my two likely answers, but I kind of want to flip the question, and I now have a question for us.
Well, I have to answer the second part. If it didn't, if it ceased to exist.
Right. You didn't answer that second part.
I did not yet.
Never mind.
That's a little.
Okay,
That's a little easier to answer.
It is easier, but yeah, go ahead.
I would probably. I mean, right now, I have other games that Hearthstone comes to mind. I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone Battlegrounds, and that's a similar. I would probably play some sort of like auto chess, and probably make content for it. I think I've caught the content creation bug pretty hard. I would likely look to start something on Battlegrounds right now, but it wouldn't be like my love-hate relationship with Melee. Like I can't not make Melee stuff. It's always bringing me back. I'm stuck with it. It would probably be I'll do Battlegrounds now, and if something else comes along, I'll do that. Until something captures me in the same way, and I'll have to wait for that.